Welcome to your market update with me, Tradespotting. Hope you had a good day. Plunging activity shakes New York manufacturing. Hold on tight now as we witness a dramatic downturn in the manufacturing activity across New York State. Brace yourself for these jaw-dropping surveys. Figures in the May survey results that left businesses reeling. In all seriousness, the General Business Condition Index took an astonishing nosedive. It plummeted 43 points to minus 31.8, with 17% of respondents reporting improved conditions and 49% crying foul. It's clear that the outlook is anything but rosy. Last month's positive surge in new orders and shipments has gone in a flash. New orders index plunged 53 points to minus 28, while the shipment index dropped 40 points to minus 16.4. This only means one thing: orders and shipments are nosediving, leaving manufacturers hanging on for dear life. Unfulfilled orders, more disappearing acts. The Unfulfilled Orders Index sank minus 13.2, signals a decline in the backlog, so that buffer's gone. Meanwhile, the Delivery Times Index tumbled to minus 5.7, indicating that suppliers managed to shave off some time, but not without adding to the suspense. And let's not forget the Inventories Index crashing to minus 12.3%. As if all the inventories are now vanishing into thin air. So they've nothing to sell, and they can't sell it anyway. Never mind make it. But that's not all. Employment continues its downward spiral for the fourth consecutive month, with the numbers of employees index stuck at a gloomy minus 3.3. You'll notice most of these numbers are minus numbers. The average work week index remains below zero at minus 3.5. How often do you work, mate? About minus... Yeah, that's how bad it is, hinting at a slight decline in both employment and hours worked. The workforce is feeling the heat, my friends. Hold on to your hats as we dive into the price roller coaster. Prices paid remained relatively stable, barely budging at 34.9. Meanwhile, prices received hold their ground at 23.6, suggesting that pace of price increases has slowed. Buckle up for the slowing. Looking ahead, the Future Business Conditions Index is inching up slightly, 9.8, but don't get too excited. Firms are far from optimistic, expecting marginal improvements over the next 6 months. New orders and shipments might see a slight increase, simply due to the season, while employment and average work week might experience a tiny bump. However, capital spending is also dropping. It's now at 0.9, which is its lowest in 3 years. So it doesn't look like this contraction is due to capital expenditure in any sense. Weakened capital spending plans. This is a cycle that continues, and this is how economies really lose their footing. Even with the technology spending index following suit now, it's at a mere 1.9. That's also incredibly low. So there you have it. A wild and turbulent trip through the May survey results for the New York Manufacturing Index. New York State has hit some major roadblocks recently. It's left businesses feeling the pain. Hang on tight. We await the next twists and turns in this heart-pounding saga. In other news, the debt ceiling is still causing anxiety as the so-called X date. Right, that's that one with Picard and the guy from Split in it. It's approaching on the 1st of June, so US lawmakers really better put their pants on and get to the debate on raising this limit. Analysts are warning of potential big implications and the possibility of a stock sell-off if there isn't a decision made shortly. The meeting between US President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy on Tuesday is becoming important, more and more important. More eyes will be focused on it And other economic data this week, along with the Fed speakers, including Central Bank Chief Jerome Powell. He's scheduled to give a speech on Friday. And let's not forget the excitement from the Multi-Millionaire Maker series. Check it out, by the way. This is UPST. Now, we've had this conversation a number of times on the channel, and I like to do this, so bear with me as I do it again. Hit that like button if you enjoy this too, so I know I'm not the only one. So this was a 37%. This was a 73%. This guy, I mean, you could do it one of two ways. We did it this way, so we'll keep it this way. 13%, followed by a 20%, and most recently, this guy's finally, I mean, I say finally popped a while ago, but other people that were still in there, 60% again. And then today alone, you got 23% on this UPST. So lots and lots of money, despite the fact that it didn't really go that far. Well, I mean, it did, but it hasn't found itself very far from when we first started speaking about it, right? This most recent entry is the same as this previous trade, right? At the start of the year, the first one for UPST. This was all pretty much the same setup. What was this formation? The retest of the support line. So previously resistance, you know, same trade really. So that's what we're looking at. If UPST, people were asking about it last week, and it's really good to see that sort of thing. So if you're in that, I'm super happy for you. Let me know in the comments or the chat box. But great to see. Time frames aren't visible. Sorry, Lisa. Yeah, I tried to fit it in that wee box and I was getting frustrated, so I abandoned it. This is the 1 hour time frame. This is 1 hour. 1 hour, I'll make sure to call it out. This is a 4 hour where you're above the 200 period moving average. You've got a big gap to be aware of. Very much in profit taking zones. So there's a 4 hour time frame. Bullish control zone. Don't like to argue with that myself. You're creating new highs there, which is all well and good. You've obviously pushed into the bullish control zone before and cut your own moving average. So the fact that you find yourself back here again while creating new highs is fantastic news. Daily time frame, you've pushed beyond that 200 period moving average. That's really good to see. Really good to see. But then having found support at the 200 on the 4 hour and now reached the daily, is it true to say that when we go to the weekly, yes, there's some resistance there at 50 simple. So if it does push higher, 21 spot 30, asking for much more than that is asking for a lot considering how far it's come already. So I wouldn't jump on a moving train. That's a warning I give out a lot. There's a lot to learn here, including patience. There is no help in rushing to be rich and plenty of wealth in waiting to be right. So trade the moves that suit you and your trading style, not your hopes and dreams. And welcome to Tradespotting, where your hopes and dreams will meet ends and means. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. So that's the 50 simple period moving average in the weekly. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Also across the select sectors, I mean, quick look at SPY 413. We talked about intermittent range 410, 413. We updated everybody on the show this morning, so everybody had a good idea. We also had the fact that SPY was opening up strong with this gap, but the futures looked a little bit weak relative to their previous price differential, so we thought that we would come down and close that gap sharp shrift, which happened during the morning show there. Then I went off to trade this, made a little bit. Price action then recovered, didn't really go that far. You can thank me for saving the day again. Yeah, so in price action on SPY, where was it? That's actually today. It should be on the 1 minute time frame today. Where's all this today stuff? Regular. Today, where's Friday and today? It looked like that. Here's a version of what looked like the other thing. Yeah, so this it? Monday, yes. Where's open at? Jeez, but how come you're going back in a minute? You were going for it. There it is. Is this it? Yes. Was that what I was looking at, or was I confused by this? Right now I'm confusing myself. So anyway, we opened. It was a little bit weak. Came back down. 200 period moving average. Went back up again, and you were in the bullish control zone. The retracement subsequently gave you a little bit of bullish divergence. Boom. Was an uptrend. Go back to test that level again would have been the idea. Tested on 200 period moving average, giving you possibly good trades. So we covered mostly what we expected on SPY with regards to support and resistance, and then you closed in at around one of them. Well, you're a cent off 413, so not bad. Anyway, that's just a quick update of what happened on SPY today. Top movers in select sectors would be building supplies, materials, Building materials. Materials. It's materials. XLB. Materials. 0.85. Not bad. Nothing after post market. And then you've got your amazing technology. That was the end of the day. A little bit of a bounce. Finance doing slightly better. Slightly better. Can't really say much has happened on energy, industrials, communication. All very flat, really. Most of the market ended more or less flat from that look across there. Healthcare went down, that was about it, but everything else recovered most of the drop from this morning. Jimmies were rustled. Rustling those jimmies, eh? Good to see it. Keep them rustled. Okay, so thank you very much for tuning in to the market update. This is just a quick news bulletin with those important pieces of economic data that might not have reached your inbox yet, but now have, and have been delivered in entertaining fashion with little bits that we'll catch up on later as and when it comes back around to being important. We'll compare the future results to these, and you won't have to worry about where is these weird economic events. How is it that they come up and I've never heard of them before, and what do any of them mean? And do really people actually pay attention? And then you would go into it and then you would say, well, maybe they do, and what parts are important? You don't need to do all that because I'll deliver it for you. Morning and evening, or evening and morning, or some combination of the two. As long as you watch the videos and hit the like button. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Oh, I was just asked this morning by Nick to look at Edu, so I'll get here to it now. Whoop, there it is. Today, 4.29%. 15-minute time frame. You were going back up towards this gap. You left one en route. Don't think you've got any long-term resolution to this particular section of the trend, though I am going up through the tiny time frame, so let us keep an eye on things. Downward sloping resistance there, starting to take some interest in that. Losing those important moving averages on the 1 hour time frame, so short term you say the momentum doesn't look to be with this leg of the trend, though this leg of the trend itself has been pushing up again. This is also a millionaire maker series trade. Go up this trade by time frames, but yeah, so here's this huge gap that Edu's trying to get back into. Bottom side of that closed at 56. Have got now bullish divergence on these higher time frames, pushing to the top side in terms of an uptrend. That's interesting there. You see the uptrend. You see the uptrend, right? Yeah, you could define it with that line through the center of prices, and you see this. Ooh, you see that? Yo, you see it? Keep your eyes peeled, folks. And now do you see this, folks? Do you? I bet you do. I bet you do, folks. And I bet you're looking at this and saying, whoa, Jamie and his magic ruler. You're singing the theme tune. I don't even know what it is yet, but it's brilliant. It sounds great. And you're looking at that and thinking, whoa, retest in there at 31. I'm not sure if you've got the legs for that. You're already pushing up and you've got the divergence. So what would you be looking at in terms of an extension? Well, closing that gap in at around 59. Would it be appropriate so far? Let's check it out. Jamie's magic ruler says you could go for it. Boom! You could go for it. Boom! Says the ruler. Boom! Sorry, pardon me. So that's what you would look like. If you're talking about extensions of that leg of the trend, possibly if you're talking about formations, you've got what some people would describe as an inverted head and shoulders, which is looking like a potentially even more violent move. Momentum has been pushing down on the short-term time frame, so bear in mind, there are tests happening at the moment of support, which is either representative of greater buying opportunity or a really good place to manage your risk. Depending on how you look at trading, it might be the same thing. So, that's not bad, eh? Suits you, sir. So if we're talking about that guy, then golden pocket retracement, you could well and truly beat that, and we're looking at a move all the way up to $100. Is that possible, Sputter? Is that possible? Well, I'd be definitely looking for this thing intermediate term. Close that gap, golden pocket retracement, and finding resistance. Significant levels of resistance, yo. Very much so. It'll be a tight struggle breaking above this gap, yeah. That's not going to work like that. What should I do? What should I do, folks? Should I go for one of these? I will. I'm going to do it, folks. I'm doing it. He's gone and done it, folks. There it is. Oh, look at that top corner. Right, so that's what you might be looking for. And if you're really excitable, you'll probably be looking for 100, 120, in which case, fair play to you. And then if it is breaking down, you've got this little gap. Gappity gap gap. You've got loads of gaps in there. Anyway, then there's this guy. Big news. Big news if you get that far down. But it's possible. Breakdown, possible. Very much possible. Bearish control zone price action has put in a double top, second of which was bearishly divergent, and you have lost the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour time frame. So all of these things to be cautious of. Consider that alongside the fact that momentum is against you on the really, really tiny time frames. But then on the daily, you have got this positive move. You know, you stand a good job recovering that 200 period moving average. You do the same on the 50 simple and break that prior high at 45, then you are targeting 56, which is a big move again. But you know, you've made 4% today. This recovery is fantastic. It's a fantastic recovery since the start of the year. If this is the point at which you were introduced to edu, this, or even this, then perhaps you're thinking, manage that trade, be safe, and take profits and whatnot. And you can see the relative moves on it. And if you're trying to build a position in these sort of things, like look at that crater and move down. Like a lot of different stocks, especially things in similar industry, have made a better recovery. So perhaps this does make one. But there's weakness there for a reason at the minute. And so say, for example, where's my brush gone? I need you, brush. So if it does break down, and you're looking at it, test that 236 area again, that'd be very important. It's a huge chunk off price action. I don't know why I got the brush out. I was probably trying to make a point. Anyway, so definitely I'd be expecting to find resistance in that place where I drew a box, which now seems to have disappeared. So back to the brush. If it should even push that distance. And like I say, it's divergent on the top side. So if it doesn't hold this trend line, which is going something like that, underneath the RSI to support it, then you'll likely correct to a horizontal within the trend here. And the first place to look to would be James Magic Rule, would be that area there in around $30, 382, 28, 22. Confluence there. Look for a test of that previous support, the impulse out of this previous price action when you started moving into the liquidity gap, which is this huge gap here. Closed at 56, retests in at around 30. So if you're buying it, or if you're not, and you're saying, whoa, I only buy things Tradeport talks about, then don't be buying it until it gets back to here, right? And sell it as soon as it gets in profit, sell a bit of it, and put your stop in profit, and then follow that stop every time it makes a move above a prior level of support or resistance. Follow it all the way up to here, and then take 75% of what's left, and then just let the rest of it run with you following that with a stop loss for the rest of it. That's what I'd be saying. Likely what it does is it comes down and up and down and up and down and up and down like that until the economy resolves its current survey that's been put to it. Hello, economy. Our economy said, we put it to our economy, they need to change the ticker name. Edu. New Oriental Education and Technology Group. Well, I mean, it's education. Edu. But yeah, it's not very snappy, jazzy, fancy, fun and cool, is it? Do you want some edu? No, I'm going for a sausage roll. That's what happens in Britain. If you ask anyone, do you want to go for some edu? No, never. Like that, they say it like that. It's a mystery. Yeah, it's like that Meadow mystery. The mystery of Meadowville. The cows that are really dogs in cow costumes. What's going on? Did you find that rusty cowbell? Did it lead you to the clue? Hey, Sputter. Stop it, Sputter. Oriental is considered racist. Is it? Oh, right, that's what you're saying. New Oriental, though. So maybe it's got some new slant on that, which isn't. I mean, it's a bit hard to... I mean, I figured reading that they were better at judging this than me. So I'm just going to, stay out of the debate. I thought you were a simulacron of JME and not live. See, this is what the folks think, always. The folks always think this. I'm live as can be. Right, Bitcoin... 27.3, a little bit of a recovery since these previous drops. Hit that automification button. Should be going. Where's my menu gone? Come back, menu. So you're looking at this and you're thinking, Spot, is it going back up to here? Or is it going down to here? And, well, it all depends what it does with that 200 period moving average on the 5 minute. That's what I always say about Bitcoin, isn't it? No, 4 hour time frame. You've got your bullish divergence. A number of chunks of it. You've got downward sloping resistance. That would be something like this. 200 period moving average on route, 50 simple there. It's doing well to recover that 50 simple, so if it does manage to open and close a number of these and push back up, beat 27.7, probably does target 28.2, 28.5. And if you go up to the daily, that's also where you find the 50 simple. And on the weekly, turn off the drawings because it's just far too much at all. And you've got your 200 period moving average most recently providing support. So hold that, you'll get a positive inflection on the 50 simple there. Break down 22, 22.5, that would be the levels to look to. Get an early sign if you start opening and closing dailies below 26.3. Pardon me, daily time frame, you can see 22.5, 200 period moving average support. If you fail to break above 28.4, 28.5, that would be your warning sign. And a lot of people would be, if you are a nervous trader, you've got a long-term Bitcoin position, it's currently in profit and you don't know how to handle it, the safest option would be for you to start taking profit at 28.350, 28.450, 28.5 in case of a steep correction that takes it down to 22.3, 22.5. If you've most recently entered at these areas, I'd advise you to be cautious, follow with a stop beyond a significant level of resistance, but still in profit, and manage that trade closely, be careful with it, and all trades crypto markets. That's my advice, and as much as I'm saying about that, you should watch Rocky Outcrop for the truth, the answers. And Bitcoin, get most of them from his most recent video, despite the fact that it's a few days old now. Still get all the answers there. So that's where mine are coming from. Right. So people interested in XLRE, the real estate. The real estate, I heard it's crude sputter. Well, if the banks are prevented from, if we're all prevented from shorting the banks, then they're going to hide all their distressed assets. Right in there. Right in there. You'd at least expect it. And with the Treasury giving everybody, like, all the major institutions blank checks, just dump your assets here. We'll absorb any major fluctuations in them over the short term. It's interesting. PAC-WEST, they're up a little bit of a chunk today. Down pre-market, bit of a reaction subsequently. So anyway, yeah, what we're looking at here, XLRE real estate. So if it does start to move to the upside, 50 simple there at 38.90, currently trading 37.02, 200 period moving average 40. That's a strong level of resistance and a golden pocket retracement previously. So pay attention to that. Daily, it's in a downtrend, it's losing support at the minute, failing at the center line. If that does turn bullish in terms of momentum, you've got immediate levels of horizontal resistance to aim to, along with that diagonal. 39, 40 bucks looks like resistance again. So if it does push up, it's going to find a very big struggle getting above those levels. So same deal with SPY. If it does manage to go through, follow through with this test of this horizontal and push up, at least scare people and push towards 430, then it may well be that some select sectors get left behind, So that would inform me with regards to how I'd orientate my portfolio should there be a break to the top side. Depending on those sectors, then the companies within it I thought had the best potential based on their chart, because nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. That's how I get the good fundamental analysis, because look at the charts, innit? See the see the closing prices. Now, your mum. Yo. Okay, great. Thank you very much for watching. It's great to be checking in with you a couple of times a day. This is a live video, which allows me to do other things during the day. All the responsibilities met. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Another great episode of Tradespotting. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks for being here. Jay Fair and everybody else. Colin, you too. Thanks for being here. See you tomorrow. Thanks.